Hello, my name is Giacomo Longato. I am a person who's very interested in enigmas, archaeological enigmas, and historic enigmas with an emphasis on the Inca Empire. I'm Peruvian living in the California Central Coast here in America. And today we have a special interview with Andrey Verianov, who in 2012, he and his team was working for the National Institute of Culture at Cusco, trying to find out certain issues that was happening in that archaeological site. But accidentally, he found something else. In a connection from California to Moscow, right now, I have Andrey Verianov with me. Andrey, how you doing?
Hello, Giacomo. Good.
Okay, please, can you tell us your professional background?
Okay, Giacomo, I'm a geophysicist. Actually, I'm operator of GPR ground penetrating radar. And in Cusco, it was the job, the job for Institute of National Culture of Cusco, Ministry of Culture, actually. Huh? And there was just to resolve the problem of destroying the Sacsayhuaman. The blocks of Sacsayhuaman start to destroy because of water, rains, and we have to scan this area just to find the dangerous places, the dangerous places that must be protected from water, I suppose.
So part of the walls on one section of Sacsayhuaman, as we're seeing right now in the pictures, were collapsing slowly but surely because of underground water that was affecting the structure then.
Exactly.
So we're talking about like 10 years ago. That was in 2012. For how long you stay there in Sacsayhuaman doing your research, your technical research?
And the field job was about 2 months. 2 months with the interpreter, with the studies.
So you were using like every day you and your team GPR to find out any damage into the underground structures of Sacsayhuaman then?
Yes, all the time we use GPR mostly.
But how come you find out about this structure of the limestone? Because according to archaeologists and historians, there is a local quarry, a limestone local quarry, that all the stones were taken to build Sacsayhuaman. The official narrative is telling us that the Incas, or the Inca Empire, even though there are other comments from specialists telling us that the Incas rebuilt and reconstruct certain areas, but they cannot tell us exactly what archaeological sites. But there is right now a consensus, general narrative telling us that the Incas built that. Let's say they built that, but accidentally you find out there was something wrong or something completely different with those stones on the first level of Sacsayhuaman. What happened, Andrey?
Just stay there for this time, and then I just observed these blocks, and I saw something different from natural limestone from quarry, for example. Yeah, just when if you see it's a different the natural stone, the natural limestone rocks, and what I saw in Sacsayhuaman in the blocks. Yeah.
So can you explain us a little bit, since you're a geophysicist and for most of us we don't understand? So the original natural limestone from the quarry is different from the limestone located in Sacsayhuaman. Why?
Yeah, the consistence of this limestone looks for me the first time looks like artificial, because I didn't see any defects that normally happen, what you can see in the limestone.
So you mean any minerals concentration, any fossils?
Yes, fossils. Okay, just the limestone quarry. Just you always find something like shells inside, or etc. etc. This is the sedimentary rocks. Okay, so you can find it. You can find in the quarry, just in the limestone the rocks, any kind of pieces of that. It's normally, but there in blocks it was mahogany. It's like a monogamous. It's like the same color, the same structure, all the blocks, and nothing, no defects, nothing there.
So we'll say it was too good to be true, too perfect for in your eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened next? You call the authorities. You're telling, hey, I found out this. I'm gonna do this test, and you took samples.
From the beginning, we have a discussion with the archaeologists, the enthusiasts, that what kind of material is this? Because they told me different kind of materials, but I say this is limestone. And limestone, I show them, put it in the restaurant. I just took one piece of this and they put it in the restaurant and in vinaigrette. How do you say in English? Just
Vinegar.
Vinegar, yeah.
You took a sample and then you
Yeah.
put it in a glass with vinegar.
Yes, and then we saw the reaction with the vinegar, just because this is calcium. Yes, it's a limestone, 100%. Yeah, and then I asked if they have any kind of analysis in the Ministry of Culture. They said no. They just okay, and we decided to send some samples to Moscow, to Russia, to laboratory, because it's is a part of my job, because the collapsing of this block is not only the rain, the lead under these blocks, it's the effects that cause water between the blocks.
Okay, so the water was filtrating within the blocks, and that was part of your job as well. So you took samples and sent it to Moscow for further research. But you told them, I mean, first of all, that's the people need to understand is they have an official narrative. No, this is what we know, this is what it is, but no one have ever done any test.
Yeah, I was really surprised about this. Everybody talk about this, but nobody just did any analysis of these blocks.
So that's the big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, how many samples your team took and was sent to Moscow back then in 2012?
It's about 30 samples.
30 samples from different sections of Sacsayhuaman.
Yeah, from all stages of the wall, or from the from the different blocks, but in Sacsayhuaman and from quarry. This place it's near from Sacsayhuaman.
Yes, the quarry is near from Sacsayhuaman. So once you took the samples and it was sent to Moscow, and what exactly happened? So you mentioned in an interview in Spanish, we have this interview in Spanish as well, which it became viral, and many people even didn't know. So in other words, the people to have a better idea, in all these 10 years, this report was not made public. In all these 10 years, nobody knew about this. Only an article in a local newspaper of a minor edition in Peru, one article from a Spaniard lady, an archaeologist living in England, and another article in, I don't know, in the internet, but mentioning briefly about this discovery, but never interview you, never interview anybody of the team. So that's the big difference. So we're talking about this for some unknown reason. We practically don't know about this discovery, about this research. So many people thought about geopolymer or a super Andean concrete, which is the case in Sacsayhuaman. But also you're telling us that the first level, at least the first level of Sacsayhuaman, have this concrete apply into the surface of a real stone. Is that right?
Yes, it's look like, because just to say exactly what the kind of stones is inside of these blocks, we have to cut them. But in some places the cover of this cement was broken, and you can see the rocks, the normal rocks with the broken rocks, what they just put inside. Yep. Then I decided to scan it with a small GPR. Just this kind of GPR. With this GPR, we find defects in the concrete. in the construction. And I find that these blocks have the empties in the inside of these blocks. Then you can see it clearly.
So there's some rock.
It means it's not the solid material like in the second and the third floor, and the first floor was built with the stones and then covered. It looks like it's covered with this material.
So a layer was applied like a normal construction that we see the walls, and they put like a stucco or sheetrock or this concrete, you know, still fresh, somehow semi-solid state into this original rocks. And they look on your portable GPR, smaller one, detected that. And this emptiness of holes that you can also see in Sacsayhuaman, which is the weird stones really that have like cavities and holes that doesn't belong to the real or original, you know, limestone. So in other words, you because that's the report also that we have here in Spanish. There is a report in English. Here we have two screenshots. One is showing the natural conformation of the limestone. The other one is showing us the ones located in Sacsayhuaman. So in other words, there is a pure material, no fossils, no microorganisms. What does that mean? There was a process, something happened in between. What happened? Was it grinded? Was it added a new formula that agglomerate that into kind of a concrete, Andrey?
Yeah, the first we take some sample from a quarry and from the blocks. Yeah, just to compare this. And we see in the chemical analysis that is exactly this is the same material chemically. It's the same material from the quarry and the blocks from Sacsayhuaman. But the difference is the structure of this material, because, like I said, the limestone is a sedimentary material, and the natural limestone you can find shells, some microorganisms, but in blocks we see that was crashed in the very fine particles from 1 to 10 microns.
So 1 to 10 microns, very fine, like a powder.
Yes, actually it's like a talc.
Okay, like crush or grinded chalk, practically like wheat and wheat flour.
Yes, and this means that this material was crushed by somebody, because it never happens in the nature. For example, the grains and flour, yeah, have the same chemical characteristics, but physically it's have different structure, because grain is the nature, yeah, and the flour somebody have to process, somebody have to crush it.
Right. That's the point. That's a big point. So someone, a team of people in ancient times, being Inca or pre-Incas, that's something completely different from the subject, was able to crush all these tons, practically all these kilograms, in order to create this concrete, adding a formula. About the formula, we don't know about it yet, right? It requires more research then.
Of course.
It requires. Now, the samples were sent into Moscow, and if I'm not wrong, scientist Nikolai Bernikov from the Habarov, I'm sorry about the pronunciation, city, the Institute of Geophysics and Tectonics, gathered a group of colleagues to talk about this discovery. That was in 2013, is that right?
It's about the same. It's same year. But the result of this analysis, I didn't remember. I just did this analysis in 2012.
All this report was sent to the National Institute of Culture in Cusco from your side, from your team. All the reports, all the information.
Yes, of course. I sent it in by email. I sent it in the physically, yeah, just in a letter. Yes, I did, and they received it.
That is weird because nobody knows about it.
I don't know why.
Exactly. That's a good point. We don't know why. The thing is that nobody have interviewed you. There are people talking about that there is no geopolymer, or those are not, quote, in Sacsayhuaman artificial stones. But there are people that they talk about it, but they never been in Cusco. They've never been in a field research, taking the samples only from their desk and their computers, which is a difference because you've been there for a couple of months. Other thing is, so according to your research, you talk also about the second and the third level. In the second or third level, those are pure concrete that looks like plasticine. There are no rocks inside like in the first level, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's a solid. The second and the third floor are solid material. The first floor is a little bit different. Okay, at the first floor, I mean these big blocks.
Yeah, 100 tons, 50, 60 tons with the rock inside. But on the second and third level are just the concrete, are just that look like plasticine. As a result of your research, your team's research, there is a section behind Sacsayhuaman. There is a circular place called La Rotonda, or in Quechua, Cocha Chincana, because many people mention that it's supposedly a water reservoir, quote, but it's not. That area is in dispute. But in that section, the GPR discovered something. It is true that they discovered a tunnel underneath the section. How long it is? Is it natural or man-made, Andrey?
Actually, in these days, when I've been in Cusco, working there, we did a lot of scanning, a lot of studies. Yeah, being in Cusco, being in Sacsayhuaman, we did a lot of research there, a lot of scannings. Actually, archaeologists ask us to scan this place, to scan other place. We're interested to do this too, just to understand the reason, all this construction of the Sacsayhuaman. And we find some interesting places, like Rotonda. Rotonda is behind Sacsayhuaman, is a circle place. We find there the tunnel 30 meters long, 3 meters depth. Yeah, and definitely for me, I could say this is a man-made tunnel.
So we're talking about an artificial construction, a subterranean artificial construction in that area called the Rotonda or Cocha Chincana, which is located, very, very interesting, guys, because it's located near the Chincana or the labyrinth, which according to some oral traditions, there is a tunnel or system of underground, of course, underground tunnels that runs from Sacsayhuaman into downtown Cusco, the historic part of Cusco. Now, you have more projects because you speak very good Spanish, and you're going to be within time, in the next following months, going back to Peru. And there is a project that you would like to work in Cusco, Andrey.
Yes, going to Peru in the next month, because I just have a new geologist project, but other projects is I'm very interested in it, that we can continue to study, continue research there, because this place, Sacsayhuaman, and the historical center of Cusco, because we can scan it and see the.
So it's a GPR is a non-invasive method that you can scan like X-ray all Cusco, and who knows what you're gonna ended up finding, what others structures, places, tombs, tunnels, palaces, who knows. So it's a very interesting project, Andrey.
Yes, I think so. I think so, because when we scan it, the archaeologists in Peru can better understand the system of the Cusco city, like an old city.
Right. It was the center of the Inca Empire, a religious center, which only few people were allowed to enter and live there. Only the royal families, the Incas, and their relatives there. So that's a very interesting project. I'm sure it's going to be many people interested in your research, and we're going to keep posted to the public all this information as well.
Giacomo, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your interest in this, in my job. Yes, because I was surprised. Yes, I was really surprised, because when I find it, I thought that just we're gonna continue, but like you said, this informant was never shown to the public.
It has been 10 years and it never shown to the public. I think it is time. So people who are interested to contact Andrey, here it's going to be his personal email. You can contact him. He can send you some reports and information. You can exchange ideas with him about this research, most of all about the discovery that needs to be known by the general public. Thank you, Andrey. I really appreciate your time again. I'm sure we're going to be in touch, and perhaps we're going to be together having a great time in the near future in Cusco. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you, Giacomo.
Bye-bye.